Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Monday, the 26th day of June, 2023. I started this one time and said it was July. I don't know. The year is progressing fast enough. I don't need to make that happen any quicker for myself. Anyway, I hope you all had a good weekend, and fortunately, we think our frost time is over, hopefully. You never know. This El Nino thing is moving through, and I don't know how long that's supposed to last. And it's supposed to be some really weird weather. So, but I thought it meant that up here it would be super hot again, and that's not good either. So, but at least it's not, freezing at night. That's good. I did replant a little bit of my corn, but not much. I probably didn't need to, but I went ahead and did it anyway because I'm a little compulsive that way. I don't know about you, but my garden, for whatever reason, is just the most important thing ever, Anyway, let's go ahead and take a rune to start us out with from the Elder Futhark. That'll be the above side of things today, and the significators. The runes are the significators, by the way, if you didn't know that. This is your first time here or something, and if it is, welcome. And if you've come back, thank you so much. I hope you'll click subscribe if you haven't and join our little tarot and rune family. And we meet Mondays and Thursdays to talk about, the effect runes and tarot cards have on our perceptions, how maybe they can give us other things to think about in terms of problem solving or how we see things. And I figure that's a pretty good start for each day, don't you think? Anyway, let's take a look at the rune. It's Othala. Othala is it's one of the runes that's pretty complex bind rune, although ultimately it has Kenaz everywhere. Kenaz is shaped like this, and here, let me get a clean post-it note here. Kenaz is like this, okay? And it's basically everywhere here in Othala. Kenaz is the torch or the light of spirit. It's clarity, it's healing, it's well-being. But literally, you have it in all directions here to create Othala. But along with that, though, you have Ingus and you have Gebo. But the Thala is literally about tradition. It's about possessions, inheritance. It's the last rune of the Elder Futhark, so it's the 24th rune. It's an earth element rune. It's sacred space. It's ancestry. It's the Akashic record of our lives. Literally the culmination, like the world card is in the major arcana, the culmination of everything the soul is to experience and learn while in form here. And again, it reminds me, and I've said this before, of the Ten of Pentacles, where you're literally looking at the transfer of legacy. Well, this is the building up of all of that, and it's done in full clarity, the soul's full clarity of who the soul is, not having any confusion over whether or not you're the ego, that's the ego mind, or whether you're the soul mind, right? And so when you see this, it could have something to do with tradition, inheritance, possessions, protection, the legacy that you have, what you've learned along the way. It could be all kinds of that. Loyalty, security. Again, that would be along with protection. But it's the culmination of everything that you've learned that can then hopefully enlighten you and see the world in a really soul type of way, soul experience way instead of the ego experience. Although that's in there, well, you learn from that. And but anyway, let's see what this has to do with the below side of things with the geomancy runes. I'll throw down the 4 elemental runes here, and I'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. Oh, okay. We have all single dots, and so that means we have Vaya. Vaya is the complement of populace, whereas populace is the crowd or the people, or just it's a passive influence. So you're kind of following along with the crowd. Here you're setting your own course. Vaya means the way. or the path. It can also mean stuck in perception, but again, it's that focus on something new, a new opportunity, a new path, and so you're kind of stuck on that, aren't you? When you're trying to figure it all out, your focus is there. You could think of it that way. Together, though, maybe a new path is opening that's going to add to the Akashic record of your life here, that's going to add to your security, that's going to add to your peace, that's going to provide material security for your family, increase what you have to offer others in terms of legacy, and if it's family, then inheritance. So a new path is opening, a new direction is opening, that's going to ultimately apply to that. But we'll see. We'll see what the cards have to say. Let me shuffle just a little bit more here. I start this out before I ever turn on the video, and I'm shuffling and for a while, and kind of getting myself centered for all of this. For the reading, we'll cut the deck and take the last half. Well, I'm going to turn. I'm going to put the second one first here, because I think that this really, I think this really follows the runes completely. We have the Two of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Fool. So Othala will probably sit above in the reading the Two of Wands and the King of Pentacles, and then the new path is going to be with Vaya is going to be expressed by the Fool, as the Fool takes its leap into a new direction, maybe. Now the other part of this, this could have something to do with past life, and then when you come back, as the Fool does again, to experience life in with another theme, to learn something else. So, I mean, this really could be Akashic record. It could be, your past life experience informing the present as well. But that's for another reading, I think. That's a little more complex. But just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If you're of that persuasion where you think along those lines, just keep that in mind here. That it could be something from past life or from the past itself, informing the present, this new experience. Let's start with a 2. 2 is about balance. It's about decisions. In this case, the man is standing up on looks like on the roof of something, or maybe on an arched bridge or something, or a bridge of some kind where they've just got the little partial walls here. And he's standing in the opening right here, and one staff is affixed. So that's experiences from the past. That's opportunities from the past, you could say, that are there, that are present in his mind. And here he's holding another staff in his left hand. He's got a globe in his right hand, and he's looking out over the water. He's a merchant, maybe, or a man of means, or somebody who's an entrepreneur who's trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? And so here you have, in a sense, a doorway into new experiences, and he has to make a decision about that. Is it going to really benefit his life? Is it going to benefit his family if he has one? Is it going to send him off in the right direction where he can build on that and create the legacy for the future? Again, with Othala, the security, the possessions, the wealth, all of that is encompassed in Othala. And with Ingus as part of it, Ingus is the seed. That was the diamond piece right here on the top of Othala. Ingus is about the seed. It's about the sudden release of energy into consciousness, basically. And it would be just like the seed growing in your garden. Once if you do it like we do, we put a lot of them between wet paper towels and stick them in a plastic bag and blow it up, get some air in there. And we wait, and we open them every day or every other day to see, have they sprouted? Well, it's that energy, that life energy that comes into being. Whenever you have a new idea, whenever you make a choice to do something, whenever you choose a new opportunity that's come your way, to work on that, just to work toward that. to get involved in it. That's that sudden release of life force energy into that moment where you make that decision to do something. And so it's a very powerful moment in a person's life, especially if it has to do with maybe choosing to go to college or trade school, or you get all that behind you and now you're going to go into your career. The choices that you make matter. They're either going to take you where you want to go, or maybe they just show you where you don't want to go, and that's valuable too. And then you can choose something else. But right here, the world is at his fingertips, basically. He can do anything. And so the decision is there to be made, and he's done so. And in the process of doing that, over time, we have the King of Pentacles here. Here we have a successful older man in authority. He's concerned with his legacy. He's steadfast, responsible. He can be a little fearful over all that. You see him sitting here in his garden on his ornate throne. You see, I think that these are more. Where is my oh, there it is. Let's see if I can get this to light up. Oh, I did. These look like steer heads or bull heads. And when you think pentacles, Taurus is an earth element a sign. And I know from my own mother, she was a Taurus. She was quite stubborn. And so, this king might be a little bit stubborn too. He's holding on to his, well, let's just put this right there. That way I'll have it in case I need it again. He's looking at the coin he has sitting on his lap. He's got a scepter in the other hand. You see grapes everywhere. And grapes really, they're describing abundance. And so he's sitting there with all of his abundance around him. The castle is to his back. And again, he can be someone who's a very responsible guy. And he got to where he is by being responsible. I mean, there's kings get to where they are for all kinds of reasons, not necessarily because they're the most responsible person in the world, but because, other reasons. Either they inherited it or so there's a sense of legacy with the card. But it could also be that they, pillaged and plundered and took over. So it could be some not so positive things why he's the king, but we'll just think the best of him here. And there's a lot of strength with the King of Pentacles. So whatever decision you make here may in fact be lucrative and may give you some authority that you didn't have. It could be that you're starting a business and you're the guy in charge or the woman in charge. And or maybe you take a job where you're going to be the supervisor and you are in charge of a whole bunch of people. But the idea is that you have some authority with this King of Pentacles. It's suggesting that with the decision you make from the two. And from there, it could be very lucrative. It could be, there could be a lot of abundance from, in other words. You could earn a lot of money, which you put away so that you have all this abundance around you. And then from there, there's always the underlying legacy that's involved with both the king and the and Othala, where you've made the right choice, you've become something or someone in your life, you've achieved some success and authority, because I think the king, you can't ignore that about this card. And at that point, life is pretty good. And then you decide with Vaya, a new path opens. Now, if you're somebody who is above retirement age, say you're somebody over 60, all right? And not that you're necessarily going to retire at 60, but just say somebody in their 60s. And that you think, oh, well, I'm retired. I'm just going to, do nothing. I'm just going to hang around. I'm going to maybe have my garden, or I'm going to take care of my property, or maybe I can travel or whatever. But sometimes that's not what happens. And I think in this day and age, a lot of people that are my age and older, this is just their second chapter. They've retired, they've put their time in, they've got maybe some security, but maybe they don't. Maybe they can't retire. Maybe they have to continue to work. But if you are fortunate enough to be able to do that, it's the second chapter of your life, or whatever chapter you're in. And with Vaya, it's saying a new direction's opening. And so here with the Fool, the Fool typically describes the soul taking its leap into form. where gender is determined, and you've chosen the theme, and he's trusting the process. He's looking upward to spirit, to heaven. You see the sun shining down around him. The whole sky is yellow. And this is the area of the soul up here. Here you see this. You can see what looks like snowy peaks on these supposed blue mountains there, bluish colored mountains. You see some more down below, and here you see him on the precipice of something new. You see the white rose in his hand, or is it a lily? I think it's a rose. Yeah, we talked about this before. It's kind of drawn faintly there, the edges of it, and it kind of looks like a lily when you see it. But you see the white rose in his hand, his knapsack's over his shoulder, whatever he's bringing with him into this new awareness, this new experience, this new life, if you will. His dog is at his side. And, well, its dog is at its side, because we don't know yet. This is an androgynous person here. We don't know yet what gender this person's going to be, this soul is going to be. But basically, you start anew. We come full circle. The Fool is card 0, and so you come full circle, and you're ready to start anew. So whether this is not dealing with someone older, it doesn't have to be. But what you've done here is you've made a choice, or you're about to make a choice for a new opportunity that's going to bring you some abundance. It's going to bring you some success. And that's then going to apply to the rest of your life. It sets the stage for the rest of your life, if you will. If you're just starting out in life, if you're just out of college or trade school or what have you, you're still young, you're in your 20s, and you're ready to start your life. Or if you stay in school a little bit longer, you go to grad school, you might be a little bit older when you start, working and making your way. But you have to make the choice as to what that's going to be. And the choice you make now is going to serve you later on. It's going to be successful. At least this reading is suggesting it will. But then after a point, once you've had that success and you've built that life, you've built that Othala, that security, that legacy for yourself, now it may be time to switch gears and do something else entirely. Or something that might be similar to what you're doing, but a different direction with it. It'd be like somebody who has a job and maybe they're at a university or something like that, and then they get tapped by a new government administration to come and do something there, maybe be a cabinet secretary or something like that. So it's still within that same genre, but you're in a whole different place, right? It's a whole new path that's opened, which then when that's over with, see, you can maybe parlay that into something else, or maybe at that point you are ready to retire with all that life experience under your belt. But it's that idea of building your future, and then at some point a new direction opens for you here, and you're ready to take that leap of faith into that new opportunity, and trust the process, trust the legacy that you bring to that moment, trust the experience. In other words, another way of saying legacy is experience, life experience. That you bring to this new direction. You're ready to take it. Even if it's new, you might want to start another business, but maybe you've had a business before, so at least what that process is like. Maybe it's a whole new thing, and you have no idea how you're going to do it. You just know that it's there, and you want to do it, and you have the wherewithal to do it, and some life experience along the way. So it could be something like that. But I think that for a lot of older people, if this resonates for anybody my age and older who's listening here today, I think that we're not done. When we decide to retire and take it easy for a little bit, suddenly you're like, well, why do I want to do that? And you may find a volunteer position, or you might be tapped for something else in another type of a situation where somebody knows you, and they say, they might be really good to maybe shepherd this project or something, with all of your experience that you have. Even though it might be a whole new direction, it doesn't matter, because you're still you still have the ability to make that happen. And I think that people my age and older want to do those kinds of things. They're not really ready to wrap it up, essentially, and wait to die. That's not what you want to do. You want to keep progressing forward. You want to keep trying new things. Some people become beekeepers. We did for a while, but it's hard to keep them alive around here. And so it got to be pretty expensive. I think we're going to go ahead and restart the hives next year, but we took a couple of years off with COVID. We just needed a little break from it, and but it's something new to learn. And for some people, it can be quite lucrative once you get to the point where you can start taking honey from the hives, because you don't do it right away. But then you do, and you start selling it at the local fair or the Saturday markets or something like that. Or you're an artist and you start branching out there and start creating some things that you then maybe can sell to people. So it's just an example of where life is not over, once you get to a certain age. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And so I see with Othala here, I just immediately think that, about the whole legacy part of it and the life experience you bring to things. But in a way, this is kind of describing that process, where you start out choosing a particular path that's going to be lucrative, hopefully, and then in fact it is. But then from there, a new path can open. So it doesn't have to be an entire lifetime here. It could be of any age where, you've done some things for a while and now, something intriguing has come up. And it's like, well, gee, maybe we're in a position here financially that I can switch gears entirely and it's not going to harm the family. Maybe you're younger and that's the conversation you have with your partner or spouse. So it just seems like there's a kind of an exciting thing here for today, where you see that there's more than just the initial choice that you make, that you can make other choices as time goes on, and that's okay. They can be just as lucrative as the initial choice that the reading is describing. So why not take that leap of faith? If you've been doing something, you've been successful at it, and you feel like, hey, somebody's knocking on my door here, and, I kind of like that. This might be the time to try it and see what happens. It could be something that, maybe it was something you were always looking for and you just had never found it until now. It could be something like that. But I think that the strength of home and family and all that you've put into your life with Othala, I think that's there to support you in this, on this new direction or new path that's opening. So I think that's it. I don't think we need another card. We took a fourth card on Friday or on Thursday of last week. That was kind of fun. Gave a little more information to the, what was it? Let me see. I have it written down here. Gave us more information on the Four of Cups. It was the King of Cups, so it was all about collaboration and integration with other people on Thursday, and we had the 22 numerology, so that was interesting. With 22 is a master number. It's the cosmic builder. So what are you going to build? How are you going to do it? Are you going to do it on the backs of others? Or are you going to do it from higher awareness? And it just seems like, for what was going to happen there, collaboration was part of it. And can you do that? Some people have a hard time with that. They're very independent minded and they just can't share that. They have to work alone. That's what they do. And so the idea of collaborating with other people is like, oh no, I can't do that. So, but Thursday was kind of a day where maybe that might open up for somebody that was reluctant in the past, but today I think we're still on that kind of career thing and what can happen for you, depending upon the choices that you make. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Everything's up on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, you can click on more below the video and that opens up a box and it's right there at the top. You can scroll down and look at all that if you want to. I write also over on Substack, Medium, and Patreon if you want to follow me over there on any of those as well. And it also shows the places on social media where I'm at. You can follow me there. And let's see. So the week ahead is up on the blog. The correspondences for Work and Magic this week are up on the blog. I did an Exploring Tarot. That one is I forget what it is, actually. Is it was it the Ace of Pentacles, or was that the week before? I don't remember. Anyway, I'm working on next week's stuff, so my head is there, and I don't remember what it was. But anyway, that's there. I've been doing that every week. And I guess that's all I need to tell you about. You want to check those things out? You sure can. I'd love you to do that. But in any event, I hope you'll subscribe and come back here again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.